Hey everybody, got a 5th update for you on the LTX DMR project. I've been able to get it combat tested and range tested. The combat test went pretty well, other than the fact that it reset itself twice, so I had to take myself out of those games. The reason being is because the power supply was not quite as solid as I had hoped it to be. So I've made sure that it's mounted in there good and it's not moving around so it won't reset itself. The other issue that I ran into was accuracy, and that's just because there's no weaver rail on here still. I haven't been able to mount that yet. So I used this point and this point, which isn't ideal, but it's what I had. So I was still able to confirm hitting targets up to 700 to 800 feet away, which is pretty good for this and what I was hoping to expect from it just for general use anyways. So I thought I would get better results by actually sitting down and range testing it. Before I range tested it though, I kept trying to tweak the lens arrangement so that way it would fit. Earlier I showed you that gap that was between the two halves of this orange shell, and that's because the TMB's lens is still ever so slightly larger than this housing is. So I had to keep whittling down the outside of the TMB lens and the inside of this shell. The issue that I ran into with that is that the plastic is getting so thin up here that I'm afraid that if I hit it on anything, or if I keep sanding it down, then eventually it's going to break, or I'm going to get a hole in there. And, you know, I've only got one of these parts, so I can't ruin it. So instead, I replaced the TMB lens with a Laser Challenge virtual paintball lens. As it may sound, this lens traditionally gets 1100 feet of range, so I thought that was pretty conducive to a DMR. Oddly enough, I did the range test, and the results are just strange. I set up a Laser Challenge and a LTX sensor literally 2 inches away from each other, while as I moved away and shot at them every 30 to 40 feet to complete the range test. At the 600-foot marker, I was unable to hit the LTX anymore, which is odd because I already knew that before, on the TMB lens, I was still able to hit it. So I'm thinking that the focus of this weapon has something to do with that. But I was still able to hit the Laser Challenge sensor up to 1200 feet, which is ridiculous and awesome, but only awesome if we're using Laser Challenge, which in a other video I explain how Laser Challenge systems can take hits from LTXs so we can utilize them in Laser Challenge battles. But the LTX brand, the brand that this thing's designed to actually be used with, it only got 600 feet with. So I talked with a few people online, and I'm going to try and retest it, but my other tests thus far have shown that it's still not getting the range that it should be. So I've got some more investigating to do with that. Soon to come, I've got to mount the weaver rail, obviously. Hopefully that'll help range tests go a little bit smoother. As you can also see, I've tested out primer on these 2 points on the blaster. I'm just checking for finishes to make sure that the sanding that I have on those is going to be ideal for the final coat of paint on there. So I'm just checking to make sure that the sanded parts, it's a little too rough in spaces where I had to go in and manually sand it. It's nice and smooth on the larger areas. So I've got a little more tweaking to do on that, but a paint job should be coming soon on this, and hopefully some better results on the lens. So that's all I've got for the LTX DMR. See you later.